Alright, now we're going to look at developing meshes for the UDK. Now this is not a modeling course. This is a level design course. You should already have the skills needed to model. If you have any problems with modeling, you should check out the modeling videos on YouTube, so youtube.com/cannedmushrooms. Other than that, I'm just going to offer you some tips. One, think breakdown. Breakdown helps. When you have something in the engine, like one mesh, and then you have it 12 times in one scene, it actually only counts as one mesh. Okay? So that means even if you have like a pretty dense mesh or something like that, and this isn't dense at all, but I would say if it was a little bit even more dense, you would have it appear once in your scene. That's the one that counts, and then any other duplicates show up, they don't count. What really slows down the engine is physics, and the other thing that slows it down is texture. So really, polygons aren't all that bad. Okay, now for the objects that you produce, I don't want you to concentrate on UVs or texturing or any of that stuff. I just want raw design, you know. But that being said, it has to have some kind of UVs in order for light mass. Ergo, you're just going to create automatic UVs, which I usually never say, but I just want you to create automatic UVs when you're developing these very simple meshes. Later, if you follow the design rules and everything else, you can change them, and it won't mess up your level at all. Alright, so here's breakdown. If you have, like, let's say a mesh that looks like this, and a mesh that looks like this, and you're like, whoa, what are these things? You can go like this, add them together, and I'm going to put this together pretty sloppily. Okay, so there we got now a catwalk, and this would be a plate for a catwalk. Now you'll notice this catwalk, the plate, it sits and rests on exactly one of the ledges. Look at that. Okay, so when you do produce parts, make it so they look like they're put together correctly. Also have a front plate. Now, could you just take a front plate and expand it out to be a side plate? Yes, but within reason. That's why it has to have a longer piece here. If you did have a texture on it, you can't stretch it too far because it's very obvious when you do. When you do stretch it out, it stretches out the UV. The UVs stay the same, and then the texture space looks odd. So that's what I mean about build something that you can add together. The same goes with pipes. Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can put together, but you know, I like is the catwalk is a really good example. Think of going to Lowe's and shopping for pipes. Okay, you know, like the PVC variety when you're a sink bus, and you have to have a whole bunch of those things. Well, you know, building like that is the same as within the engine. All right, now tip number 2: take and put all the stuff into the center of the scene. That will be the automatic center for the part. So what I mean here is, even if I have this pivot point set to, oh, let's say right here in the center, that will not be the pivot point. The pivot point is going to be the center of world space. So I'm going to have to put all my parts in the center of world space like this. Okay? And then export each one separately as FBXs. So export selection. And I've done this already. I've just exported like side rail, rails, front rail, and bottom rail. There's nothing as far as the settings are concerned. You just keep it all default. There we go. Cool. Now let's go into the engine. When you import it in, let's go like this. Now we need to make a package that you can give to me. Now keep in mind, if every student has their own individual package, I have to have a unique name in order to actually grade this assignment. Alright, so what our unique name is going to be is deadfall. Okay, Unit 3 deadfall with 2 L's. Now you can actually import all of them into the engine if you wanted to. Check this out. Let's go like that. And I can hit OK to all. There we go. Now afterwards, right click on Unit 3 deadfall and hit save. I need you to save this somewhere. I'm going to have you save it within your maps folder. So here's maps, here's your name, and here's Unit 3 deadfall. And there it is. Now each one of these has to have a collision mesh. So if you double click on it, rotate it around. I could have made collision meshes back in Maya, but I made all these parts to be 6D collision meshes. In other words, very simple stuff. So that collision mesh right there will be really good for the engine. You want really lean collision meshes. Check each part. Okay, there's the rail. Now, I don't think anybody's going to be slipping through the cracks of the rail, but if you did have something, like let's say a rocket, and you wanted to shoot through one of the cracks of the rail, you couldn't do this. The rocket would kill you. In this case, you would have to do auto-convex, and you would have to probably do it at a pretty high rate, and that's going to, yeah, there we go. Well, it's not too bad. I'm going to keep that just for demonstration purposes. Okay, close that out. And the last one. Alright. Now, again, make sure you save your package. Whatever you bring into this, you're designing this level. Okay, you have enough skill to actually make meshes at this point. So you can make, let's say, an iron beam. You know the I-beam? Think really high up and what you wouldn't want to walk on, and then go with that theme. Alright, cool. So those are some building tips. Enjoy. Let's go on to the next video.